MaMou on the corner of Rampart and St. Philip. Today we're going to be making poulet en cocotte, which is a fancy way of saying chicken in casserole. I learned this from David Goulet in Tribeca, and he in turn learned it from the legendary chef Roger Verger. Verger would make this with lavender, Goulet made it with hay. I'm going to use both. I love the flavor. And look, I know that it sounds like a very complicated recipe. I promise it's not. It's a super simple technique. Let's get started. Okay, so now we're going to make the brine. I have 2 quarts of hot water here, a cup of salt, a cup of sugar, and then the other half of the gallon in cold water. So I'm going to place the salt and sugar in the hot water, and we're going to sit here and we're going to whisk it until it's completely dissolved. So once it's completely dissolved, we're going to add the rest of the brining solution in the form of cold water. And what this does, it drops the temperature down and allows us to immediately put the chicken in and get on with the process, right? Okay, so after the chicken's been in the brine for about 8 hours, we're gonna pull it out, we're gonna pat it dry, and then we're gonna stuff it full of these truffles, right? So take your truffle, you're gonna slice it with a mandolin here. Super simple, it could be a knife, whatever, just slice it thin, but not too thin, it gets very brittle. So we're gonna do that, and in the process of that, we're gonna sit here and gently work the skin away from the breast. You have to be very careful too, because the skin is very, at this point, will tear very easily. So it's a slow, gentle process of removing the skin from the top of the bird down. And as you can see, I've already done this, but slicing the truffles, placing it underneath, and then laying the skin gently back over the top. So from this point, we're gonna put it in the fridge, uncovered, right? So the conditioned air from the fridge will help pull moisture out of the skin. And say if you're roasting the chicken, you're gonna get a much crispier version of this, right? Because it has less time that the oven needs to pull moisture out of the skin as opposed to just roasting the bird. Okay, so after your chicken is rested in the fridge for about 3 or 4 days, whatever you feel comfortable with, we're gonna truss it. And what that does is, opposed to the chicken cooking like this, we're gonna pull it together and create a more even cooking doneness. First things first, I'm gonna take the wingettes and stick it behind the drumettes. And slowly, because once again, you don't wanna tear the skin, but you wanna kind of form it, get an idea of what you want the chicken to look like once it's tied together, right? So we're gonna pull the legs back here, pull it forward, and it helps create what we're looking for. So have this here, it'll reduce back a little bit, but it's not a big deal. So then we're gonna take our twine, cut it, always cut it a little bit longer than what you think you'll need. You always trim it at the end. Pull it, find the center, put that center right along the back of the breast, and once again, pull that skin down here, right? So you don't want any meat exposed. So once we're here, pull that around. The twine will cover the breast, but run along the top of the wings. Down, around, pull these up. Keep it nice and tight, but not so tight that it's gonna cut it. Come here, you're gonna cross, and then pull that nice and tight, right? You get that nice breastbone pulls up. Come around the legs. So it looks like a real chicken standing up straight, and then come back here and we're going to tie it here. And once again, pull my dad calls it the Pope's nose, but pull the little tail of the chicken up here, and we're going to tie the twine around that. Keeps it nice and pulled up, and just tie a quick butcher's knot. So once over, and then once over again, around, and we'll pull that tight. And then snip your extra twine so you look like a professional, and voila. Okay, so now we're going to make the loading paste, and essentially what this does is it helps seals the lid onto the pot. It creates like an old version of a pressure cooker, right? So all the steam and everything stays in while the chicken cooks. So I have my flour here, have my water, and my bowl. So we're just going to get right to it. We're going to form a dough. Once that's formed, we're going to roll it out into a rope and let that rope rest. So easiest way to make sure you have the right size is just take the lid, put it down, wrap your dough around, and I think we're ready to go here. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to let it rest on a pre-floured tray. Super simple, we'll move on to the next task. While everyone on Okay, so now we're ready to put all our ingredients in the pot. I have my hay here. It's been soaked in water. In case you're wondering where to get hay, it's super simple. Just go to any pet store. Hay for rabbits, whatever. It's clean, it's ready to eat, ready to cook with, and super simple. I think this bag's like $8. It's not a big deal. So I have my hay, I have my chicken stuffed with truffles, lavender, thyme, garlic, shallot, and bay leaf. So we have everything together, all our aromatics, and we're ready to go on to the next step. Okay, so now we're going to put on the loading paste. So we have three things. We have our egg wash, our chicken in the pot, and our loading paste. And it's a delicate process, but if we take our time, I think that we'll have no problem accomplishing it. So we're going to use our egg wash, and that's going to act as a glue until the dough or the paste cooks enough to sort of hold itself in place. So simply egg wash, brush. I'm going to paint the rim of the pot around, like so. And you never want to do both sides, right? So if I'm putting egg wash here, I don't want to put egg wash on the loading paste where they'll touch or it won't stick, right? So it has to be one side painted, one not. So to make it easiest on ourselves, we'll do the pot and then I'll do the lid. So we'll reserve that for later. And gently sort of just roll the paste around, give it something easier for yourself to work with in your hand. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. It's not a big deal. So slowly take it around. Press the dough, sort of the center of the rope. We're going to press it onto our pot here. right? And you have a little overlap. Just have some scissors handy. We'll snip it. Now take both edges. Make sure those are nice. One more time around and pat it down, but you don't want to press it too hard so that it doesn't cut the rope in half. So we'll do that. We're good to go. I'll take the lid, put that on, kind of give it a bit of a jiggle in there. Then you want to take your paste, sort of firm it back up around here. Make sure you really get that seal. The whole point of this entire technique is to make sure that this is sealed well, right? So we can keep all the steam and flavor in there. All right, so we're good there. And just to give a little color to your dough, I'm gonna sit here and give it a bit of an egg wash around, right? Super gentle, super quick, right? So from here, we're going to put it in the oven for about an hour and a half. It's a 4-pound bird. 20 minutes for every pound, plus 10-15 minutes, right? Up to your discretion. All right, and the moment we've all been waiting for. Voila. Okay, so now we're going to let it rest for about 20-25 minutes, and then I'll show you how to carve it. Alright, so we've let it rest for about 20 minutes. We're going to take the twine off, and then we're going to carve it. So I will show you how to do that.
Je perds la raison à chercher tes bras, brûlant de passion. Viens, embrasse-moi de tes grands yeux noirs, l'étrange lumière à nimber le soir de tous les mystères.
Oh ma douce souffrance, pourquoi s'acharner, tu recommences. Je ne suis qu'un être sans importance. Sans lui je suis un peu paro. Je déambule seul dans le métro, une dernière danse pour oublier ma peine immense. Je veux m'enfuir, que tout recommence. Oh ma douce souffrance. Je remue le ciel, le jour, la nuit. Je danse avec le vent, la pluie. Un peu d'amour,
again, I'm Tom Branighan. Thanks for joining me. I hope to see you at MaMou soon.
Et dans le bruit, je cours et j'ai peur.